All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So we will be taking a look at NVOS, TTOO, and FNGR on today's video. Man, look, NVOS has been nothing but slippery to say the least, all right? Especially in this good little 2-week window, man. There were moments where it wanted to fly. There were moments where it wanted to die. There was some crazy $1 billion news. There was a nasty, short seller article. We're now sitting over some key lines, overall 5 moving average. I mean, there's a lot going on NVOS, all right? I'm excited to give you my thoughts. I'll be honest, I am bullish going into tomorrow. There are good signs here. There could be better signs, and really tomorrow I think is going to confirm one way or the other, okay? TTOO, look, TTOO only a few days ago was below all 5 moving averages and looking to die. It has now regained 2 of the 5 moving averages in literally the last 2 days, if I'm not mistaken. I think on Friday it got the 100, and then I think today I saw it take the 8 moving average. So look, breaking moving averages as you move on up is a really good sign, right? And I think there's a decent gap that might be worth considering a look at tomorrow. But yeah, simply put, hey, I'm glad it's regaining moving averages instead of dying, all right? And then FNGR, look, I don't know a lot of the story behind that stock. I would actually really appreciate it, but man, technically, it's looking really close. I will say that for sure. So if I have time, I'll throw in a 4th one, but that seems like a good thing for now. But before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself, as well as these diagonal trend lines that you see there. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here, giving me your time, super appreciated, all right? So look, let's get into it. And again, I started the video with it, I'm gonna say it again. It has been a slippery 2 weeks. I don't know if there's any other word to describe it, all right? There have been moments, and again, we're actually there now, but there were moments where it looked like it wanted to break 32 and go up to this 55, if I'm not mistaken, right? Sorry, it's just a little high. Yeah, 55 is the next line up, right? But I mean, it wanted to. It then all of a sudden gives us reason to believe it's going to lose, and then all of a sudden we get the $1 billion news, and then all of a sudden we drop back down from some, I think it was Hindenburg, I don't even know the name, whatever. Some short seller article came out, and then, I obviously talked about the after hours noise, but today definitely did more than I expected, all right? We did not close over the 20 moving average on Friday, all right? And what's big about that is, again, we talked about that 1 point whatever billion dollar funding over 15 years, right? Like there was a lot of noise that was pushing this thing close to 50 cents, ends up bringing us all the way down. I also talked about the fact that this thing opens at 34 and closes all the way down here at like, regardless if you missed after hours and pre-market, right, it goes down a little bit more than 10% on Friday for most people, right? So Friday did not look very good for today. What I want to do, and I didn't do this for myself because I wanted to do it live on the video. So I'm going to extend the trend line, all right? I'm going to extend it, and I should have probably said it before I did it, but if you go back, all I've been doing is, let's just raise that a little bit just because OCD, that corner to that corner, just extending the line, all right? And I will be honest, I'm giving a lot of credit to this trend line right here. I am. And I normally don't draw trend lines too often. For me, sometimes the moving averages are kind of the like moving trend lines, but hey, sometimes it's worth drawing, and you can kind of see it here. But dude, the trend line saved it. And I think the trend line's been strong enough that, like, I mean, this is the entire run, right? So I'm going to delete this thing. I don't think we need this bad boy anymore. this is holding us, and that is what brought us back over today. And again, I saw moments of, oh, it actually hit 35. I didn't see 35. I know I saw 34, and I know I saw a high 34, so it makes sense that it did actually hit the 35s. But I remember seeing the 35s and being like, damn, I missed it. It's about to go to like right here, 38 something, if not even right here, 41 something, right? Like those thoughts were in the back of my head. And I'm glad I didn't buy at 35, but I'll be honest, I didn't wait. I did not wait for 30. I thought about it, but yeah, I got a little greedy. I got in at 33. I'm so glad to see that we're still here. I'm hoping it still holds. And look, in a lot of ways, tomorrow's going to be the big day. I probably should not have bought in today if you really want to know the truth, all right? Because this is not over the 20 moving average. This is over the 20 moving average. I need confirmation the next day, okay? And here's a little back of the pocket thing I want to give you guys, okay, and give you girls. For me, it's easier for the 20 moving average to bounce you over the 8 than it is for the 8 moving average to bounce you over the 20. Okay, the easiest chart for me to remember that on is Mavis, all right? This was the moment, okay? That looked like it was going to do it. That looked like it was going to do it. It obviously never did it. It is, the 8 and the 20 works when the 20 keeps you back on the 8. Once you need the 8 to take you over, it's not the easiest thing to, in fact, I'm going to get to TTOO later. I remember that was also another reason I was really bearish. I always struggle with bullish and bearish, but the 8 taking me over the 20 was something I was not willing to believe on TTOO. And that's where we're actually at with NVOS. We're asking the 8 to take us over the 20, and man, I don't know if I was stupid for breaking my own rule, but again, it's hard. It's hard. And again, you know, when I move my money, I'm using a little bit more of a, I don't want to use complex because it's not like, you know, these are more rocket science than this one, right? Like I've always said, this chart readers one that we're using is pretty basic, but you know how deadly these videos can be when you're using this stack correctly, right? So when I'm looking at these two, it gives me a little bit of reason to believe in NVOS. It does, okay? Here, you know, it's funny, the MACD never actually slips below the negative. It got close and then kind of started to recover. We're still below the red. You know I want green over red, but that's a little nice right there, okay? This is something I talked about on for a different stock, but it's still kind of here. Look, we were well over 200 million and in volume, excuse me, that's what down here, right? 200 million shares on Friday, and then all of a sudden we lose more than 50% and come down here to less than 80. Even with that monster drop of volume, we still brought in a pretty nice day, right? Like when you lose volume, it should be a bad thing. When that's not the case, it's an interesting anomaly at the minimum. You know what I mean? So, but again, we're over this line, my 32 resistance. We're still able to use the trend line as a bounce. That's a good thing. We're obviously over all 5 moving averages. End of the day, we need one more day over this 20 moving average. Because I'm telling you, this 8 over 20 overcoming, I could have said that a little smarter, but like it's not easy. And literally I'm going to start with that on, probably not because it doesn't matter too much on TTOO, but you just saw it. Like on TTOO, that was literally the reason why I was a little worried, all right? Yeah, the 8 moving average is going up. Yeah, the 20 moving average is going up. Even the 50 is going up, right? Like these are like, there's a lot of things that I'm saying are good, right? To me, this 20 moving average can do whatever it wants. And if we don't confirm tomorrow, I think we come down. Ooh, man, I think 29 at the minimum, actually. I think it could come as low as 28 or 27. Because realistically, I think this is going to probably go up a little bit tomorrow, probably 2 right there. I think 27 is the lowest this can go. I would not be surprised if this got to 28 or 29 if it doesn't confirm. Otherwise, for real, I am expecting 37 or 39. Even best case would be 42. All right, like I'm hoping we go green, 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 red, 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 red. You know it, green, 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 green. That's the goal. Listen, I have not spent a single moment talking about this gap fill. I have not spent a single moment talking about $1 dreams. This is a 34-cent stock, all right? Let's hopefully get to 55. There's a number of things we have to do before that. But I'm not even thinking about 55 yet. All right, right now, number one, I'm hoping I don't lose money on this entry. That's actually number one what I'm looking for. Second, honestly, like I still gotta wait to see if we can break this. Look, RSI is at a beautiful 45. There is so much room before it can get to the 47, the 79, right? Like this RSI, if it's able to run, and you can see, I mean, we've been up here a couple times, even before we started this run, right? So if we can make a move, there's actually a shot at 55. But right now, I'm telling you, don't have more than 42-cent dreams here, okay? Because even if you do that, you're adding more than 33%, right? I'm rounding a little bit, right? But you're basically adding a dime on a stock that only has 3 dimes, right? So keep things in realistic bites and portions, and that's how you're able to, you know, handle a fast moving stock like this. All right, let's take a look at the weekly. Obviously it's still very, very early in the week, but hey, we went from, oh man, are we worried about coming down to the 8 to, oh man, are we about to go back, right? Like there's a lot to like on this weekly. The weekly is actually in the positive MACD. The weekly is still at a healthy number. It was a really high number. It has now reset itself. And let's be honest, okay? Yeah, I see volume doing that. I do. But what I really see is so much buying and so little selling that just about every share that was purchased in this is still in someone's hands. No one's really bought and unloaded anything even remotely silly, even like, you know what I mean? Like what was this volume? So let's say all 180 shares on this week, 180 million shares this week were sells, like every single one. That doesn't even wipe out this candle, and you still have over 700, almost 500, almost 500, almost like there's a lot of shares still in people's pockets. No one wants to let go just yet. You know, like there's some interesting things happening here, to say the least. All right, NVOS, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, you know it. I appreciate you. Let's get into TTOO. All right, let's get into TTOO real quick. And look, I know NVOS had the bigger percentage, but I'll be honest with you. I like these last 2 days. I do. All right, now on Friday, let me even take a step back before Friday. Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, we were well below all 5 moving averages. We were on the verge of dying. We were starting to get into the 15-cent range. Like break all 5 and fly, lose all 5 and die. Like we were in the second half of that rhyme, and that's the worst part of it, all right? All of a sudden, we regain one of the 5. All right, I'll take it. All of a sudden, we've now regained 2 of the 5. Okay, I see you. You know what I mean? Like, look, it is now up to confirmation. All right, where is this line? You're at 25. Where was this line? You're at 25 as well. Let me back up one more. Where is this line? Okay. We need a close of 25 cents or better tomorrow, all right? Honestly, there's a lot of reason to believe we might even come up to this 28-cent line tomorrow, okay? It doesn't sound like a lot, but that's actually a 20% swing, right? Because yeah, right? Did I do the math right? We're going to add 5 cents to that. 10%. Yeah, I did the math right. Sorry, that's a 20% move right there. All right, so that could be because all I'm seeing is red, green, right? And it's interesting. Yeah, I don't mind. I'm like, I think I've almost convinced myself here. Even if I wait for 24 to go to 28, that's not bad. I got myself a 24-cent alert here. I think the one scary thing with this is I can easily see it getting, you know, a fake out if things happen. Look, we're still a little bit negative MACD. Man, this volume is still very bothersome. It is. Even the I don't know if I just regretted putting that 28-cent to 24-cent alert. Because look, again, one more time. One of the things, just in case you fast forwarded here, right? With NVOS, I actually didn't even talk about the volume here. I talked about it more on the weekly. But NVOS, for most of this run, the buying has been monstrous and the selling has been insignificant, okay? With TTOO, it's not, okay, I'm gonna start from right here, especially. From this window of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, of 7 weeks, it's been pretty rough. There has been a lot more selling than buying. This is one big candle and might be able to offset a bit, but really almost all of them are still near that 100 million. It's only going to take 4 of these little ones to chop off this whole thing. And then what is the NVOS window? Just to do an actual apples test. Yeah, like look, in the exact same window, none of these reds added up are going to take out all of these. Like, yeah, the volume is a really different story here, all right? And man, I don't know if this volume alone is starting to scale. You know, I always say 80% of the work is up here, and I think I'm gonna give the breaking 2 of the 5 moving averages a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt. I think if we can creep into 24, 25, there's a shot we might actually do a rather quick move up to 28. Where did this end on the hourly? That's not bad right there. I normally don't do this, but this is an interesting view I want you to look at. Again, you know I don't care about after hours, right? Like whatever the hourly is doing now, I don't care about that red candle that just came. That's a fake candle to me. What I see is a break of these 3, a decent confirmation, and a reason to believe we might be coming to the 100 moving average with a decent RSI and a positive MACD. I think TTOO has a shot at running at 27, 28 in the morning, actually. From there, it's going to be hard to at least break the 50. I don't know if this will wick 30 cents. I think it's going to be really hard to close over 30 cents. I've said it on multiple videos. I'm going to say it again here. I will enter pretty big right here. That's also why, again, I'm saying I think I regretted putting that 24-cent alert. I think my phone's going to go off at 6:30 and piss me off in the morning. But if we can break 30 cents, there's a lot of reason to believe we're going to come even remotely close would be beautiful, but there's a lot of reason to believe we'd come up there, right? Maybe this right here will be a little bit of a hindrance, but again, going from 30 to 40, you're adding a dime on a stock that only has 3 dimes. That's literally the same thing we said on NVOS, right? So, yeah, TTOO, look, again, it doesn't have the big monster day in terms of candle. To me, this is an important candle. You reassure that 100, you now bring the 8 into the mix, and you're actually giving a little bit of a reason for a shot up to 28, which again would be a very nice double-digit gain, right? So money line is still this 30. Let me zoom out. Is that actually the money line? Because it looks like it was right here. Yeah. That is. I think it's 32. I think 32. What's the top of you? Are you? All right. This line is 34. I'm going to lower this line to there. 32. That's our new, that's the money line right there. It is. I'm going to delete this line. I think at this point we have a lot of moving averages sitting here. Because I think, like I said, we're either going to make a run to the 8 or we're not. So for me, though, one more time, 32 cents is the line that matters on TTOO. All right, look, it's still very, very, very early in the week. We're at least holding the 20 moving average. All right, and I just said it. This is the opposite of what I was saying on NVOS. Let me go to the daily. I don't like when the 8 is supposed to take me over the 20. I think that's a really hard thing to do. What I do like is when the 20 is supposed to take me over the 8. That's a not very easy, but that's a more realistic thing to do, especially if you're starting to believe that the 8 and the 20 are your friends, right? Because again, you know they're your worst enemies, but all of a sudden they will do the exact opposite of this and become your best friends, right? So I need a little bit more on the weekly. It's still obviously super early, but yeah, not too shabby here, all right? Let's take a look at Finger, FNGR. Okay, I'm liking Finger. All right. I think there's a number of things jumping out. All right. First off, look at that volume. We've clearly seen it before, but only to have it drop, right? But what I like is when we had this big volume, we also had a big RSI that got into the 96, right? Day after, 94. You got to believe it's going to come down. We're now doing this volume at an incredibly healthy 40 something. That's kind of making me believe we've got some juice to keep going. All right. Next thing, MACD's in the positive. I like it. We just got the green over red cross that we like. We now have hopefully the start of a good divergence. Divergence just means the two lines are going away from each other, right? We are clearly over those moving averages. We have clearly used those to bounce. We then get over the 20 moving average. We have now confirmed we're clearly over all five. Listen, I've said it on a few videos. This is the line that matters to me the most. $7.57 is the line that matters the most. I do have this $10.80 line roughly, but one of the things, and again, it's a little hard. Like this used to be a shady stock trade. All right, like you can see, like I'm gonna click a random on this random day. The volume was 0.00. All right, it's a lot of BS. Okay, I'm gonna click into one of these where it's over, and you can see the volume was only 12K. Volume is like not like these are just randomly insignificant small numbers when it makes this run up. Okay, we're now in a place where volume's in the millions. Millions, at least a lot higher in the 100Ks, 200Ks, right? So as the volume gets realer, it makes me believe this is the line that matters. Honestly, if we can break this, I don't think there's a lot that's stopping us from going here or, knock on wood, breaking that and running. Again, there's lines I can draw up here, right? But on this day, literally up here, the volume is only 30K. That 30K volume number legit means nothing to me if this millions of volumes are going and going and going, all right? The one thing I have to say for sure, look, I see after hours is kind of showing this like going up a little more than 10%. No, that's not what's happening. Don't get too excited, all right? Just, I promise you that. But right now, the goal actually is, can we get over this trend line again? And I'm not gonna lie, I think there's reasons to believe it. This 757 will not be easy, all right? But I like this, I like this, I like this. I think we got a shot. I have a sincere request. Look, I have no idea about this stock. I don't know what it does, why people are into it, what made it go from literally not that long ago, right? It was not that long ago that there was only 70,000 shares being traded, and now all of a sudden it's more than 700,000. Right? It's done more than a 10x volume increase in about 2 years. Why? What is this thing? Let me know, please. All right. I don't think, excuse me. I don't think we need to look at the weekly. Let's look at the weekly. All right. Hey, so far so good. Okay. Couple things. Actually, I'm glad I came to the weekly. On a single day, on only Monday, we already broke the 50-week average. All right. If we move zero volume the next 4 days, our single day is already over the 50-week average. That's an impressive start. All right, that's a monster sign of strength. So I'm glad I came just to look at that. Again, weekly still has some juice. Good little divergence in the positive. There's a lot to like on finger here. All right, I'm gonna do one more just to do it in, because I'll be honest, I don't know if I can do a second video here. BNOX. All right, let's talk about BNOX. Okay, BNOX was one we were for sure talking about and joking on the Discord. All right. We are over all 5 moving averages. We went from like wildly nothing volume, 60,000 shares traded only a few days ago, to now pushing 38 million as of today. Obviously, we went well over 100 million on this day, right? That's a decent textbook bounce on the 200. That's I can't ignore that, right? The RSI is actually not super high. There's still room for this thing to go up, you know? And this is the line, man. If this gets over 427, it echoes a lot of what I just said in finger. This is insignificant candles and trading. like zero volume on this day. I can tell because it's literally a dash. It's not even a candle. Let's go into this candle day. This candle day was 3K volume. Get out of here. Like, once this line breaks, this is the difference between fake trading and zero resistances and then the one single resistance that we're looking at. All right, there's a lot going on here, and if it breaks this line, it actually could be game over. All right, as long as it's under the line, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing comes back to 275. If not, like 234 is a really, really strong line. It is. Like, it's gonna want to come back down to $2.34, or it needs to break this and then run. There's very, very little in between in my guess, all right? I can see this maybe coming here, but I feel like if you're going to come to 330s, you might fall all the way there too. So, dude, there's not too much more I need to say on this one, actually. I think I'm telling you, like, this is either going to confirm the bounce of the 200 and fly breaking this line, or we're going to come back down here because it wasn't a real one. Again, maybe 350 is where it ends. That's just more on the candle itself. If we start coming a little closer to this, that 330 number I gave, I think it actually will not hold 330 and come down to like 270, which is basically this. So I'll be honest, I don't really know the story behind this stock. I really don't know what it means to say depository shares. I saw that. It looked a little shady. I don't know. For real, I have never seen those two words. So I don't know if it's like, I don't know. I don't even want to throw out any random guesses, right? But end of the day, man, volume is king. There's definitely some volume here. Breaking over all 5 moving averages makes you want to fly. And this is the last resistance between, oh my goodness, and coming back to reality. You know what I mean? So let me know your thoughts and opinions on all of these. Otherwise, you know it. Thank you. Thank you.